Welcome back to the show. I'm Max, and today we've got a movie that just broke a box office record everyone thought was untouchable, a wave of cyberattacks hitting something you probably don't think about at all, and a fight over what it even means to be born American.
I'm Lika, and that last one especially, we need to slow down and get right, because it's a lot more complicated than the headlines make it sound.
Let's start with something lighter. Spider-Man, Brand New Day just had the biggest domestic opening weekend in box office history.
Wait, bigger than Avengers Endgame? That record felt untouchable.
It felt untouchable for 7 years. Endgame opened at $357 million domestically back in 2019. Brand New Day opened at $360 million.
That's a $3 million margin. That's basically a photo finish for a record everybody assumed was permanent.
And it didn't stop there. The film also broke Endgame's preview night record, $74.5 million before the weekend even officially started.
Okay, domestically, it's the biggest ever. What did it do worldwide?
$932 million globally on opening weekend, second only to Endgame's $1.2 billion. And it crossed $1 billion total in just 6 days.
6 days? That's an absurd pace for the fourth movie in a series? Not a brand new franchise with fresh curiosity behind it.
Here's the twist, though. Critically, it's actually the lowest reviewed of Tom Holland's 4 Spider-Man movies.
Wait, the one breaking every record is the worst reviewed one?
90% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, which sounds great, until you realize the other 3 all sat in the low 90s or higher. So technically, yeah, it's the floor of the franchise.
What are critics even complaining about if it's still doing numbers like this?
Mostly that it's overstuffed. Too many characters and dangling plot threads for one movie to carry cleanly.
But the audience clearly didn't care about any of that.
Audience score is 98%, one of the widest critic-to-audience gaps of the whole superhero era. Tom Holland apparently brings enough heart to the messiness that nobody in the theater seemed to mind.
So critics are lukewarm, the box office is historic, and the audience walked out loving it. That's a strange combination to sit with.
Director Destin Daniel Cretton brought in a genuinely massive cast for this one. Zendaya, Mark Ruffalo, Florence Pugh, Marisa Tomei, and Sadie Sink playing Jean Grey.
Hold on. Jean Grey, as in the X-Men's Jean Grey, showing up in a Spider-Man movie?
That's the MCU fully folding the X-Men into the main timeline. For most of the runtime, the story wants you convinced she's the telepathic villain jumping between host bodies before the real one gets revealed.
I'm a sucker for a good misdirect like that. And a $3 million margin on a 7-year-old record is wild.
It really is. All right, tell us in the comments, are you team critics or team audience on this one?
Gear shift, because this next one is a lot less fun.
Since late July, hackers have been breaking into water utilities across the U.S., and the number of states hit keeps climbing.
How many are we talking about?
It started at 7 states. As of this week, it's at least 12, including Minnesota, Michigan, New Jersey, Georgia, and South Dakota.
Wait, 12 states? That's not a handful of towns. That's a real chunk of the country's water supply.
The FBI and the EPA put out a joint warning on July 30th. Hackers are targeting the industrial equipment that actually controls pumps and valves, specifically devices called programmable logic controllers.
So they're not stealing data, they're reaching directly into the physical equipment that moves the water around?
Exactly. They get remote access, change the passwords and IP addresses, so utility staff get locked out of their own systems, and from there, they can mess with pressure and flow.
What actually happens on the ground when that occurs?
In Georgia, a water authority serving 300,000 people near Atlanta had a pump station fail and had to issue a boil water notice. In Rapid City, South Dakota, a wastewater pump got hit, and the city is now working with federal officials to sort it out.
Boil water notices because of a cyber attack. That's genuinely unsettling. Do we know who's behind it?
Officials haven't confirmed it publicly, but multiple sources are pointing at Iran-linked hackers who've actually targeted this exact kind of water infrastructure equipment before, going back to 2023.
So this isn't even a new tactic for them. It's an escalation of something they've already been doing for years.
Right, and water isn't necessarily the ceiling here. Security researchers keep pointing out that the same kind of internet-exposed industrial equipment also runs parts of the power grid.
So this could be a dry run for something a lot bigger than boil water notices.
That's the fear driving the response. And the scary part is how basic the actual vulnerability is. A lot of these systems sit exposed directly to the open internet and are still running factory default passwords.
Default passwords? On infrastructure that controls actual drinking water for hundreds of thousands of people?
CIS's advice right now is just to get these devices off the open internet and behind proper firewalls, which honestly should have already been standard practice years ago.
It's wild that something this basic is the actual fix for something this serious.
We're going to keep watching this one, because if it keeps spreading state by state, this stops being a cybersecurity story and becomes an actual public safety story.
Let us know in the comments if this is the first you're hearing about it, because I have a feeling most people have no idea this is even happening right now.
Alright, last topic, and this one's serious too, so we'll keep the jokes out of it. It's about a fight over birthright citizenship that's now on its second round.
This goes back to the Supreme Court ruling from earlier this summer, right?
Right? On June 30th, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 against Trump's original executive order, the one from his first day back in office that tried to deny automatic citizenship to children born here to undocumented immigrants or temporary visa holders.
A 6-3 ruling is pretty decisive. What was the reasoning?
Chief Justice Roberts wrote the majority opinion, saying the order simply can't be reconciled with the 14th Amendment, which grants citizenship to anyone born in the U.S. and subject to its jurisdiction.
How many kids were actually caught up in that original order while it made its way through the courts?
Potentially hundreds of thousands of children born every single year, since it would have applied to any child born here to undocumented parents or temporary visa holders, not some narrow edge case.
So that should have settled it. Why are we talking about this again in August?
Because 5 weeks later, on August 6th, Trump signed 2 new executive orders trying a narrower approach this time.
Narrower. How?
The first excludes children born to foreign government employees, specifically embassy and consulate staff.
What does that second order actually do to someone caught doing that?
It lets the government deny visas, revoke travel authorization, impose permanent entry bans, and even deport people connected to organizing these kinds of trips.
That's a real escalation from just denying a visa application. Does this apply to everyone, even travelers from visa waiver countries?
Travelers from the 42 visa waiver countries, the UK, Japan, most of the EU, skip the regular consular screening, but border officers still have the authority to turn someone away if they suspect that's the actual reason for the trip.
What are legal experts saying about whether this actually holds up in court?
Most think it doesn't. Aaron Reichlin-Melnick from the American Immigration Council called it far less sweeping than the first order, but said it still seems to violate the Constitution the exact same way.
So even the people who study this closely expect it to get struck down again.
There's a bigger point critics are making too. Birth tourism specifically is already illegal. Lying on a visa application to give birth here already violates federal law, so the practical effect of this order might end up pretty small.
Then why sign it at all, if it's likely unconstitutional and the underlying practice was already illegal?
That's the real question here, whether this is a genuine policy attempt or mostly a statement, sending the same fight back in front of the courts.
We won't ask for a hot take on this one. It's genuinely a case where reasonable people land in very different places. We just wanted you to actually understand what changed and what didn't.
Exactly. We'll keep tracking it as it heads back toward a courtroom, because neither side is backing off this one.
So that's our show. A Spider-Man sequel that broke a record by $3 million, hackers quietly going after the water coming out of your tap, and a fight over the Constitution that's nowhere near finished.
3 very different stories, but somehow all 3 come down to something crossing a line nobody thought would actually get crossed.
See you in the next episode.
Bye for now. See you next time.
This podcast was fully generated by AI.